Welcome to BR Ambedkar. Okay. Welcome to BR Ambedkar Open University. Today we will be discussing about implementation and evaluation of library automation software. And we have discussed about history and planning. Today it will give us an idea of different phases of library automation to know the different steps we taken for implementation of library automation. It will also highlight the role and responsibility of the vendors, library users in the library automation, and also the contract or negotiation with the hardware software vendors or outside agencies. We will also know about the different elements of evaluation of library automation work, and it helps us to devise the evaluation criteria of library automation. It is nothing but a systematic approach is important to undertake this part of implementation with domain experts. Library automation is nothing but setting up of a system which can store, organize and run all the in-house operations like acquisition, serials control, circulation and online catalog to provide visibility and accessibility to the users. The need and purpose of automation we have discussed earlier. So, now next is library automation is a very expensive task because we are going to involve machines and working time, specialized trained professionals, financial resources. Moreover, it involves the working time, specially trained professionals, financial resources. Moreover, we should get the support of the authorities and approval of the authorities, professional staff working in the library and the users, because they are going to experience a new environment and little inconvenience will be caused during the process of automation to the users. So, this task requires us systematic planning, design, implementation and evaluation of the after completion. It is an understanding of hardware, software and network storage requirements. It is MLISC hardware installation, negotiation with vendors, calling for domain experts, putting for budget approval and getting it sanctioned, converting the existing catalog into the machine readable form, setting the order of preference which has to be automated first, and staff training, etc. In the evaluation process, it is necessary at every phase from the assessment of the library professional staff, the hardware specification before the automation to identify whether all the processes in the list are carried out properly and there is no errors during the data entry process, and if any it should be rectified during the library operations. Later on, the testing of the software will be done by the clients, that is the library staff and the users, etc. In the light of the above, it is very clear we should both the vendor, library and the users are involved in the total process. Coordination and cooperation of these are very important. Implementation of library automation, it is an introduction. Library automation is step of system using computers, servers and networks that can store, organize and put the data before huge data and convert the huge data resources, patterns, location, etc. and also run all the operations completely, replacing the existing one. Librarians, we should take the opinion of the librarians who have automated the library, computer and network experts, administrative and financial heads of the parent institution, hardware and software vendors and LIS management software providers. Management experts have grouped into several categories. Out of them which are important are planning, design, implementation and evaluation. So, at every stage it is very important, but now after the planning, after the implementation we start to know the reality, that is all the machines will manual records will be converted into the machine readable, and we will see planning phase coming into reality. Conversion of library system to run to routine from the existing to the new. Appointing committees. Library cannot take a decision by himself, so they need to be to present the proposal before the academic council, which is composed of institutions, authorities, financial divisions and administrative heads of the academic departments for formal approval and to proceed with. Libraries need to contact other automated libraries to know their experience, their needs and specifications, about the infrastructure specification and also their authorized vendors, if they are popular or not. So, the library needs to handle the procurement that is hardware installations, software and database maintenance. These three things are to be handled: hardware installation, software and data maintenance. So, it requires formulating committees that include librarians, nominative representations from the institution to fix the procedures and specifications for hardware, software and other network setup arrangements, etc. This is nothing in a nutshell: procedures, hardware specifications, licensed software specifications, network layout, furniture and fittings, staff requirements at the supervisory level and data entry operator. Library setup, arrangements for automation. It is a very complex thing because the objectives, needs, allocation and users' preferences vary from one type to another type. So, for example, the functional activities of university and research institutions are different from college and school libraries. So, implementation depends upon the type, variety of collections, users' needs, budget availability and experienced professional staff for decisions. So, the implementation phase covers up the setting up of library environment ready for automation tasks, installing the hardware functions and software, bibliographic data entry and running various operations for testing and doing simultaneous work. Financial resources, getting the sanctions for grants and allocating the grants, additional staff training, it is very important. Financial resources estimation. Normally, it should be estimated based on the following items and also the type of operations we are going to. What are the modules we are going to operate first into automation? We are going to put it into automation. So, there are different various functions which have to be automated. So, we have to do it by giving them priority. So, it is required to be estimated for the following items. So, infrastructure, we need hardware, server storage, whether we have to maintain it in library or buy a web space. Selection of suitable hardware components. Here we need to have an understanding about the hardware. Like for example, Koha is a open source software. The documentation specifies a Linux open operating system, Ubuntu, Apache server, search engine and network access to the server. Apache server is a free open source HTTP hypertext transfer protocol web server that transmits the content over networks. Licensed software are Microsoft Windows, Microsoft Office, enterprising version of Linux for services. Normally for bigger libraries we prefer this. RDBMS, Relational Database Management, is usually MySQL, or large libraries it may be Oracle. A search engine complied for NISO, that is National Information Standards Organization, American National Standards Institute, and Z39.50 is a client server protocol which has to be there for getting the information from the database and also for interoperability. Computer terminals for each section and opaque area also needs some terminals. Then we need printers, normal printers, network printers and laser printers, barcode printers. Network layout, network accessories, we need to have components, library and management software that we will be deciding. Furniture and fittings, all these equipment need to be connected through cables, wireless and network equipments like modems, hubs and router. The data needs to be transmitted and accessed via the local area network or the internet. In small libraries, the library staff can manage and there is no need of appointing extra staff. But in bigger libraries, the staff who are there, they are not sufficient because it is a huge task operating all the systems. So, additional staff need to be recruited either temporarily or for some time. The existing staff, library staff and the additional staff need to be trained sufficiently to cater to to enter the data in standard formats and gain familiarity with integrated library operations like ordering, cataloging, serials control, circulation and user services sections of the library. A search engine we have talked about. Now, financial resource over. Now, library setup. Now, library has to set up its collection. For example, functional activities of university libraries are different from college. So, the implementation starts with financial resources. Whatever is available, financial resource, extra grants and allocation. Additional staff training, and the environment should be ready for automation work.